Hey, welcome to another edition of the Motor City Man Mouse Show. Am I loud enough? I don't know. That's my co-host Steve Ballester. Yep, am I loud enough, Steve? Look at that hat. Unbelievable hat, Steve. Great stuff, man. Look at that
Thank you.
hat.
This is
Boy.
I get the Peaky Blinders look going on tonight.
Yeah, I like that hat. You might have to bring that as a staple, just like I have this one on here for this particular show. You got that hat, and I got this one, and we're going to be talking a lot about different things today. We're going to talk about Warren Buffett, Switzerland. We're also going to talk about 7 places that I watch 24/7 and a whole lot more. So let's get this thing started. Steve, the Sports Exchange at around 9 o'clock, so we'll get this done in rapid fire, but still have fun doing it. So let's talk about Warren Buffett, okay? I'm going to go over the particulars, and then you tell me what you think, what you learned. He was paid $12 billion in total dividends over the years, okay? Now, obviously, Berkshire Hathaway has held Coca-Cola for decades, and checks keep growing after the company's latest dividend increase. So get this, okay? He's getting $816 million every year, this guy, Warren Buffett. And that isn't good enough. What about $68 million every month? I can't count that high. $2,235,660 every day. Boy, I really feel bad for him. And every hour, what is he worth? Not minimum wage, but $93,151 every hour. Every minute, that's not too bad. $1,553 every minute. This is how much, I'm telling you, this is how much Warren Buffett earns in dividends from Coca-Cola. There you go, Steve. Coca-Cola is a real thing, and it's made him really rich.
Yes, it has. And you know, funny you mentioned that, because I get alerts all the time. And when you mentioned Warren Buffett, I thought you were going to talk about Tokyo Marine, because Tokyo Marine announced that Warren Buffett was going to buy, I think they said 2.5% of the company. And in 2 days, the company made $600 million.
Wow. I can't.
Just because the news that he was investing, and that meant that investors from all over the world were like, if Warren Buffett is investing in Tokyo Marine, then we need to get in on it. And they made $600 million in 2 days.
Wow.
That's a guy that can pick a winner.
You think? Are you impressed? Did you learn anything about this guy? I don't know if there's any stock people out there. Should we invest Should we invest in Coca-Cola or what? You leave Naples, I leave Deerfield. We going to invest in Coca. I don't know. I don't know much about stocks. Candy, get on the line real quick. Do we got to invest in Coca-Cola? You handle all the finances, right?
What?
And even though Amazon is through the roof, right? Warren Buffett says people should still invest in Amazon because that stock is going to keep going up.
Makes sense. I mean, they have delivery so quick now.
We have an investment in our place of Diet Coke every day, every week that she goes to the store. We do. I mean, that's my gasoline. She's got Diet Mountain Dew. Well, I get that.
You're sending money to Warren every single day.
Well, yeah, look at that. We're paying for this guy. Candy, you're the money person in here. Do we have to invest in the stocks to get Coca-Cola? Look what happened with this Buffett character.
Yeah, we maybe should. Might want to start thinking about it.
Yeah, in that same article that that I got alerted for, they said if you had invested $1,000 in Netflix when it came out, that would be worth $500,000 today.
Oh yeah, really?
Dang.
Well, for those of you that are watching Netflix tonight, you get the San Francisco Giants and the New York Yankees. The opener in Major League Baseball.
Warren Buffett, I mean, he can pick them, can he? I mean, it just blows me away. You know, I mean, he is such a smart guy. I mean, he's been retired for what? You know, for a while now. But he still he still posts his opinion on things, and people sit up and listen. And I wish 2 days ago I had known about Tokyo Marine. I'd have invested in Tokyo Marine.
Yeah. All right, Candy, you might have to look into this thing. I don't, my Social Security only takes us so far, but you might have to go into the Warren Buffett school here and see if we can invest into Tokyo and see if they can boost it up. All right, Candy, we'll be bringing you back in a little while. I just needed your financial input and expertise about Coca-Cola. Well, with that said, any other things you want to say about Warren Buffett and his investments, or what?
No, I mean, the guy is super smart, and I wish I had his savvy when it comes to picking stock.
Join the club. All right, but you know what? We're traveling with Switzerland. You know why? I'll tell you why. We're going to Switzerland because Switzerland has no gold mines, no cocoa beans, yet it refines over 70% of the world's gold and makes some of the best chocolate on earth. Oh my God, no kidding, really? I'm on a diet. I can't afford to have too much of it. And it's built a reputation on precision, trust, and consistency. From watches to gold bars, the world depends on Swiss quality. This is how Switzerland turned its limitations into billion-dollar industries. Okay, so then you've got chocolate without cocoa. Switzerland, get this, Steve, imports 100% of its cocoa, yet it produces some of the most premium chocolate brands in the world. You got Lindt, Toblerone, Nestle, and more. So I mean, now we've gone from cocoa to Coca-Cola to cocoa. I mean, boy, I'll tell you what a great segue this is.
Oh, I love Lindt chocolate. Oh my.
Oh, Lindt. Oh my God, you got Lindt on here. Oh, this is just unbelievable stuff. We can't make it up.
Those little round ones that come in the dark blue wrapper. Those are my favorite. They have the light blue one and then dark blue one, but the dark blue ones are my favorite. Oh my goodness, those are so good.
You're making me hungry.
I know. Now I want chocolate.
Yeah, well, I only think I'm getting close to chocolate tonight.
The Swiss do make great chocolate.
Well, guess what? You know why Swiss chocolate is loved? Because it's not just taste, it's technique. The Swiss invented conching, a method to make chocolate smoother and creamier. And they mastered milk chocolate early on. Well, I hope we pick up the audience here a little bit. I'm sure we had a few in here popping in because we're going to make you hungry after this segment's over with. We had quality over quantity. Swiss chocolatiers built a reputation around perfection, small batch quality, strict regulations, and innovation became their edge. They don't make the most, they just make the best, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Chocolate national pride. Chocolate became a cultural symbol as part of Swiss identity and tourism. Every airport duty-free shops showcase it like treasure. So look at this. Now we're talking about tourism. My goodness. What? I mean, this segment's making me hungrier by the second. But no gold, people, but a gold empire. Again, Switzerland refines nearly 70% of the world's gold. That's over 2,000 tons every year, all without a single gram domestically. So now we're talking about gold. Okay. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I remember like my first James Bond movie as a kid, Goldfinger. And then when they showed him going to Switzerland and his car was all made of gold and he melted his car down. And I was just like, man, that must be nice. But yeah, I've heard just stories about the bank vaults in Switzerland that are just chock full of gold that make Fort Knox green with envy.
It's funny. So again, Switzerland refines gold at 70% of the world's gold. That's over 2,000 tons every year, all without mining a single gram domestically. It get better. Okay, the world gold hub, major gold refiners like Metalor, Valcambi, and PAMP are based in Switzerland. Their facilities are among the most secure and advanced globally traders and banks worldwide trust them. What are your thoughts about that, Steve?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I mean, you're talking about gold. I love those commercials with William Devane, right? He's always telling people to invest in gold, right? I just want one of them big gold bars, right? I don't know what I'd do with it. I just want it, just to have it, just like I can say, yeah, here's a big fat gold bar, But I did not, and a good friend of mine many moons ago invested in gold. And I remember him telling me, you got to invest in gold. And I didn't do it. And now I'm kicking myself over that because his gold now is worth a heck of a lot more than when he bought it.
Yeah. There you go. So get this. Why Swiss gold is trusted? Switzerland built a reputation for political neutrality and financial stability. It's known for discretion, precision, and strict compliance that attracts world gold to its refineries. The strategic location, nestled in the heart of Europe, Switzerland became a key transit point. Easy logistics, safe storage, and advanced infrastructure did the rest. Branding is everything from chocolate to gold. Swiss products are branded as premium. Swiss made carries gold global weight, and even in industries where the raw materials come from elsewhere. A culture of precision, Steve. It gets only better. Watches, banking, chocolate, gold, or share the same Swiss philosophy, precision, discipline, quality. That's the real secret behind their global success. Turning limitations into strength. No cocoa, no gold, no oil. And Switzerland built global brands by focusing on refining, packaging, trust, and consistency. Switzerland earns billions yearly from gold and chocolate exports. That's just surreal. It's known as the what's that?
Swiss movement watch right there.
Oh, I thought that was your championship ring from the New England Patriots.
No. But there's always been a lot of talk about Swiss gold. There's been a lot of rumors for decades, right? Because a lot of the Nazis' gold has never been found. And supposedly there's a lot of rumors that they had a couple of trainfuls of gold that went to Switzerland at the end of the war, and that all that was deposited in Swiss bank accounts.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. That is surreal. It just is. So, I mean, this is like I said, watch it, banking. I mean, you got banking right there because of the gold value itself. Okay. To me, gold, I mean, watches. I mean, I have to admit, I do have a Rolex. And the best thing I have is I put it in a spot where, my wife will
gotta have
it,
man. I'm not a big jewelry person. I mean, but I'm a watch fanatic. I have probably a dozen watches, and
well, my role's put away. I have an Apple Watch right now because I think it does a little bit more in terms of information about where I need to be in the waistline. But I have it, so I'll let my wife decide what she wants to do with it when my days are up, and that's something that she'd be more than happy to go ahead and make that decision. But I'm going to tell you one thing about this Switzerland, and one of these days I got to get there. I'm working on my next international trip soon. Turning limitations into strength. No cocoa, no gold. You have oil. You don't have to worry about no oil. It doesn't really matter. Switzerland built global brands focusing on refining, packaging, trust, and consistency. Result earns billions yearly from gold and chocolate export. It's known for gold vault and the chocolate capital of the world, all without growing a bean or digging a mine. Unbelievable, Steve. I gave you a lot there.
Hey, that's the smart ones, right? I mean, they're not going out and busting their backs over this stuff, right? They're just taking what other people do and making it better. With that cocoa. Now, as soon as this is over, I'm going to get my Godiva chocolate and make me some hot cocoa. That's it.
See, Steve, I'm glad I have an influence on you with these topics because now it gets the wheels turning doing stuff. I do. If I've done that, I've had a successful show, and now I got your wheels So if you ended up having hot chocolate or anything to do with cocoa, you always think of this show, and then you said, "All right, what's he going to force me to do next week after next
As
week?"
soon as it's over, man, I'm putting the pot on. You
All right,
know,
well, then you have to text me when you've done it. That way, I have the verification.
I'll text you a picture of it.
Well, that's even better. I'll take that. I'll take it all day long. Okay, text me a picture of it, and that way I'll know he executed the game plan. Well, let's go on to another topic, which isn't about gold. This is something that obviously has to be taken seriously because James Aaron Duckett, a former Mascati police officer convicted of rape and murder of an 11-year-old girl in 1987, is scheduled to be put to death on Florida State Prison on March 31st. You can't rape a girl, let alone kill her, Steve. Not good, and Florida will ditch you for it all day long.
Yeah, exactly. And then, people who hurt kids or dogs deserve no mercy.
Yeah, they
And
are.
that's horrifying. And, if you're that kid's parents, you've had to probably wait all these years to finally have some sense of closure where this guy is going to be, out of the commission. So,
Yeah, this is absurd. You just can't. I hate to rape anybody, much less an 11-year-old girl. Give me a break. Really? Seriously? Really?
an 11-year-old. I mean, come on.
Yeah, oh, come on. I mean, this poor little kid hasn't even had a chance to live, and he's going to be able to do it as well. I mean, that's just ridiculous stuff. The guy's name is Richard Seymour Ferguson. Go ahead, Richard. Your act got mentioned here only because of the death penalty, something that I strongly support in the state of Florida. Richard Seymour Ferguson, people, as mentioned on the Motor City Mad Mile show, and for all the wrong reasons, for sure. And March 31st is when he's going to be, is when we say bye-bye.
Yeah, and again, I mean, when you murder and rape a little girl, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't feel any compassion for you. It's just horrible.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't. Yeah, James Aaron Duckett is the guy that I'm talking about, and Florida State Prison obviously is where all of his acts are going to be. I have another thing for the other guy. I just want to make sure I get everything straight here. But either way, Mr. Duckett deserves to get his fate, and he's only got another 6 days to breathe before nobody has to pay for him to be around any longer. So let's talk about the guy that I'm referring to, and that's Richard Seymour Ferguson, because he's a man who's battling stage 4 cancer, was sentenced to 37 years for manslaughter in a car crash by his 15-year-old son. Richard Seymour Ferguson was convicted in October. So now we've got a guy who actually has cancer that's going to be 37 years because of something that his 15-year-old son did. What do you think about that?
I don't know how to feel about that one. That one is strange. I mean, so his son was the one who did the crime,
right?
And he got 37 years in prison.
Yeah. For that. And for manslaughter too, Steve. I mean,
that's a long stretch.
Son does it. Daddy gets 37 years. Not a good situation. So we got Richard Seymour Ferguson, who's going to get 37 years because of what his kid did, and we got James Aaron Duckett. Unfortunately, an 11-year-old girl was involved and was killed and raped. Murder of unbelievable stuff. So let's go on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to feel about the second one though. I mean, I granted. I mean, he must have been somehow at fault for what his son did. Mm-hmm. But I mean, 37 years, man, that's
a long time. 15-year-old, when you do with the 15-year-old, you don't have a dad for 37 years. I hate to say this, but only in America, as Don King would once say. Well, I don't know, it could be somewhere else that we don't even know, but in this case, it's only in America. Don King, so figure. All right, well, you know what? Former Secretary
wasn't Don King convicted of manslaughter?
I don't know. Don King's been convicted of a ton of things. He just got away with it. That's all. He's boxing.
I think before he became a boxing, promoter or whatever, I want to say he was convicted of manslaughter, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look that one up.
Yeah, we will. I'm sorry. Bring it up next week and text it to me. But it is so surreal. Why do I repeat these things a couple times, Steve? It's too crazy, man. I'll do it one more time for those of you people that are just joining us, okay? James Aaron Duckett, former Muscati police officer convicted of the rape, murder of an 11-year-old girl in 1987, scheduled to be put to death at Florida State Prison on March 31st. We followed up with a Florida man battling stage 4 cancer, sentenced to 37 years for manslaughter in a car crash caused by his 15-year-old son. Richard Seymour Ferguson was convicted in October. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go on to former Secretary of State backs Trump's military strike. She actually says now's the time to crush the regime completely. And we're talking about Condoleezza Rice tells the Trump administration to take care of Iran for good. What are your thoughts about the former?
I agree with her 100%. Look, no one wants to go to war. No one wants a war, but the fact remains that the regime in Iran has been at war with us for 47 years. They've killed thousands of Americans. They were, in the midst of trying to build a nuclear weapon. And trust me, they would have used it, okay, on Israel in a heartbeat, okay? And look, and they were building long-range ballistic missiles, and everyone said their missiles were only, I heard all the, oh, there's no imminent threat to the United States. Well, their missiles only go 1,800 miles. Well, they just launched the missile, went all the way to Diego Garcia, and that's a lot farther than that. So they obviously had longer range missiles. And again, the missile that they fired at Diego Garcia at the U.S. and British Navy base there, that same distance, they can hit all of Europe. And the last thing the world needed was having Iran with ballistic missiles that could reach that far in Europe, and eventually they would have reached the United States with a nuclear weapon. And they've been this worldwide sponsor of terrorism for the past 47 years. They created Hezbollah. They created Hamas. They've supported the Houthis in Yemen. These are not good guys. And we're not at war with the Iranian people. We're not bombing the Iranian civilians. We're only bombing military and government targets. And it needs to get finished, because they need the Iranian people to get some 20th century, 21st century, people in there. This 12th century death cult that, these religious guys that they have, that's got to go. And, I know, and I've met many Muslim people in the walks of my life. And I'm here to tell you, the way these religious zealots in charge of Iran interpret the Quran is a lot different than the regular rank and file Muslim people.
Yeah, I mean, the former Secretary of State is right. I mean, Condoleezza Rice.
And Condi Rice, I'm here to tell you, I always respected her. I mean, I know she was like, was she in Bush's administration? I believe so, right? The Bush administration. Anyway, I would have voted for her if she ever ran for president. I thought that
makes
smart
cool
lady.
There. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would. I would have too. Great minds think alike there. And here's the thing: when she said "take care of Iran for good," she's 100% right. I'll go back to the hostage situation back during the Carter administration. They were problematic then. Ronald Reagan scared them a little bit, but then all of a sudden they keep doing things quietly behind everybody's back and making noise. And now The current president is he doesn't care one lick about him, Donald Trump. I mean,
No, and
Donald.
see, and it wasn't just Democrats; it was Republicans and Democrats. And look, the administrations for the past 40 something years, they've kicked the can down the road, right? And you know, no one wanted to face up to Iran. And
Right.
look, it's gotten to the point now where they're no longer just a threat in the Middle East; they're a threat everywhere. And you know, say what you want about the current president. A lot of people like him, a lot of people do not, but he was not kicking the can down the road anymore, and it shouldn't have been. And I agree wholeheartedly with the decision. You can argue what you want about their plan or their exit plan or whatever. I don't know what it is, but we don't have to know right now. We just need to get these guys out.
Yeah. I mean, let's face the reality. Iran hostage situation ruined the Carter administration. He
Oh
was a
yeah.
one-term president, and of course, I don't have to get into the fact that it caused a boycott of two respective Olympics. I'm not even going to get into that tonight. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump is dealing with it head on, and he doesn't really, frankly, care. And he's got Israel involved with him as well. And both of them have been Israel's been a target of them, so you might as well pair up and wipe them both out. And I'll tell you one thing about Israel: don't underestimate how tough that country is. That's a scrappy country, Israel. They really
Oh
are.
yeah.
They're a lot. You just don't mess with those people.
No, well, their history has shown that they cannot take another step backwards, right?
Nope.
And when they became a nation in 47, I mean, they were immediately attacked on all three sides by other people, and they've had their backs against the wall ever since. But they have the best military in the Middle East. They have the best intelligence service in the Middle East by a long shot. I mean, they've so infiltrated Iran that the Iranians now look at each other with with I guess not disrespect, but they're watching each other with suspicion now, right? Because rumors came that Israel brought in doctors and dentists into Iran, and they were planning, like in like if somebody got a root canal or a crown, they would put little trackers in their tooth so they could know where all the senior leaders of the government were at any time. And now they're all looking at each other with suspicion because they don't know who's a Mossad agent or who isn't. So the Israelis are. I've been there many times. It's not an apartheid country. I mean, their military. They have Christians, they have Muslims, of course, Jews, and they're all part of the military. They're all citizens, and 90% of what you hear in the mainstream media is not true about that place.
Right. I agree.
I've been there, like I said, I've been there many times. So
yeah, I'd like to get there once. I mean, I'm of the Jewish faith, and I would really love to be able to go ahead and see the history of it. But unfortunately, these days it doesn't seem very safe, and I would.
I mean,
for now.
I was there for work, but at the same time, the people that I was working for or with, we visited all the historical sites, which is unbelievable, So
yeah, that's a place I would certainly like to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transition over to something about the 7 places that are watched 24/7. Steve, how do you like the topic so far? They're getting
I like it.
All right, good, because the 7 places that are watched 24/7 include the White House, the USA. Well, everybody knows about that, right? Some thoughts about the White House.
The White House is such an awesome place, and it's constantly evolving. And the British burned it in 1812, but the outside structure still stood, and we rebuilt it, and it's the way it's set up is just it's an amazing place, and now. And again, now everyone's complaining about the ballroom Trump is building, and it's not costing the taxpayers a dime. It was all donations. People donated, and something we need, because when they want to have events there, they have to have it outside, and if the weather isn't good, I mean, what are you going to do? So I like it, but the White House it evolves over time. I mean. When FDR was president, they had a swimming pool there. That's not there any longer. So, but
yeah, I've actually been to the White House at least one or two times. Pretty cool place. I haven't been there before. Hey, all right, well, it gets better knowing you. You've probably been here too, like all these world places. But you got Fort Knox, United States. You've been there, knowing you, probably.
I have been to Fort Knox, but I haven't been to the gold depository.
Well, I'm getting to that.
Yeah, I went to a training course in Fort Knox, which was very off the beaten path for me, because being a special forces guy, that's Fort Knox is where they train like tankers and armored guys. But I went to a course there, and I actually had a blast there. So yeah, but I didn't go to the gold depository, so that's still on my bucket list.
Yeah, well, what they're doing is they're talking about it being the vault holding a huge portion of America's gold reserves, protected by sensors, cameras, satellite monitoring, and armed guards around the clock, which you pretty much alluded to anyway. What about Area 51, the world's most secretive military base, constantly watched by ground sensors, motion detectors, drones, surveillance? You been to Area 51, Steve?
I have not, and
Really?
That's another place I would love to go, because that's where, like, all these new stealth aircraft that we're building, that's where they test them. They test them out in Area 51. That's where they all these new high-speed drones and stealth planes and stealth bombers. They test them all out there. So I would like to get an invite out there to see some of the, some of the cool stuff that we're building.
Well, you being a military guy, not that's the one place you probably would have been, but I guess.
Nope, I've never been there.
Okay. Well, let's go across the big pond, because you have the Vatican Secret Archive in Vatican City, a mysterious library holding ancient documents guarded with extreme surveillance and restricted access. Let's talk about the Vatican Secret Archive, Steve.
Yeah, I would love to see what they have in the Vatican archives. I mean, there's some dirt in there on people going back centuries, right?
Yeah.
Thousands of years it goes back. And I would love to see what they got in there.
Curious minds want to know. All right, so guess what? Yeah. We're going to NORAD, the underground command center that tracks every object in North America airspace, monitored 24/7 with global surveillance systems. NORAD, USA, Canada.
Yeah, I mean, NORAD is like, that's our first line of defense with stuff, especially coming over the Arctic Circle. I mean, of course, that's where Santa. So every year, NORAD tracks Santa. So
right.
They.
Okay.
But that in the movie Dr. Strangelove, that they had it. They had it down pretty pat what it supposedly looked like. So I would love to see that.
All right, so let's get back into gold mine stuff, shall we? The Bank of England gold vault in the United Kingdom.
All right, let's talk about gold.
So here, let's lay it out here. One of the biggest gold vaults on Earth, protected with multi-layer surveillance sensors and guards every minute of the day. All right, see, we're back to the gold business out in the UK.
Yeah, I did not realize the UK had, excuse me. Again, thank you very much. I did not realize that the UK had that big of a gold depository there. So learn something new every day when we do these shows.
Absolutely. Oh, that's what makes the show fun with the two of us, right, SB? I'm telling you. I go I think
That's
decent
why I
arguments
come
for
here
people.
for some education.
This is education. People out there, let's go out there. Give us some love out here. Tell you, every Wednesday night you'll get an edumacation. All right, so there you go. All right, let's go. We got one more to talk about the Cheyenne Mountain Complex in the United States, a nuclear-proof bunker constantly monitored and home to some of the most advanced surveillance systems in the world, SB. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, Cheyenne Mountain that's supposedly the cat's meow. Again, you have to have a clearance well above any of the top secret ones I had to get in there. But that's a place that supposedly is really cool. So, and now they've involved Space Force, right? Because not only do they have the eyes in the sky, but all the satellites now with Space Force, and that's all tied in. I mean, that stuff got to be amazing.
All right, time to bring Candy up again to the show now because I got one that she's really going to salivate on. All right, Candy. Here's Candy. You can't see you. You got your head out there. Don't make this look like I said, okay, put it on the right way because I don't feel like you got beheaded here. And that's a bad joke considering all the stuff we're talking about. All right, but I'll tell you one thing, people. This makes Aaron Rodgers look like he does relax because Japan has a bar for people thinking of quitting their jobs, and the drinks are free, you SB. They're thinking of quitting their jobs, and the drinks are free. The bartenders are actually considered career counselors from staffing service, LIA, and consulting, and happen one-on-one. And these things happen in one-on-one private rooms. The bar says most sessions last around 60 to 90 minutes, and there's no need to bring a resume or show up in a suit. It's called the Tenshoku Sodan Bar. Steve, you can quit your job and you can get
sign me up, Coach. Sign me up. I want to go there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that.
I could tell those guys some stories, right? And drink for free.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, man. Think about this, people out there.
I think we should make a road trip.
I think we do too. Again, what do you want? It's in Japan. How many times we referred to Japan on this show? But Japan has a bar for people thinking of quitting their job, and the drinks are free. How much is anybody going to retain after that? They're free. The bartenders, again, career counselors. Really? Seriously? Really?
I wonder, like, when you go to a bar, a good bartender will engage you in conversation. I wonder what the conversation would be like with those bartenders. They have to be really good for the fact that the drinks are for free. So
yeah, that's what people are going to take away from this segment. The drinks are for free. They're going to forget about the fact that the sessions only last 60 to 90 minutes.
That's okay. I could drink a lot in 90 minutes.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. Hey, bring on those strawberry margaritas and load up. What do they put, Candy, in there? Vodka or whatever. And I like to have mine frozen, please.
Tequila, depending. But
I like those frozen ones. They don't have a blender. They're not frozen. I don't want them. I'm sure they got everything in Japan, though.
Oh, yeah.
My question would be is if all the drinks are free, do people still tip the bartenders because there's nothing to base it on? My other thing would be is what if you saw your boss in there?
Hey, you know what, Candy? You know what I suggest you do? Here's what I suggest you do, okay? I suggest that you take this little piece and give it to the Pope, okay? And let him read this one on a day when he's in a bad mood and he's having to deal with buildings that don't have any air conditioning and all kinds of things that are going on. Scott said, Mr. Pope, okay, he wants you to go ahead and read this whole little thing. I'll go ahead and screenshot it for you. See what he thinks. If that guy doesn't laugh his tail off, he says, how do you know this? Because my husband came up with this. He forgot he had Alzheimer's disease when he went out there and dug this one up out of nowhere. So there you go. That'll be your...
Yeah, I mean, if you see your boss there, right, what do? You say, well, I won't say anything if you don't.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm going to take a picture of this.
And funny story, right? Talk about that. During the war in Panama, all the bars in the country were off limits, right? So all the bars in Panama were off limits. Now, they had bars on the military bases, and only one of them was open because a lot of civilians used to go there.
Right.
So one night we go sneaking in there, fresh off a operation, right? And we're all sitting in the corner of the bar drinking, and our commanding general come in with his staff. And they all got their drinks, and then they looked over and seen us. And for about, I want to say, a minute of very uncomfortable silence. There was just a room full of people, no one saying anything, just staring at each other from across the bar. And then our general, he was a great guy. He came walking over, and he was like, "Did anyone tell you guys this is off limits?" And we're like, "Yes, sir. We were just going to ask you the same question."
That is funny.
And he's like, "Well, I won't say anything if you don't." So we were all like, "Well, there you go."
That is too surreal. So for a lot of you people that quit your jobs, go to Japan if you want to get drunk, because I don't
Sign
know about
me
the
up.
Yeah, sign me up too. I haven't had to worry about those for a while, that's for sure. All right, well, we got two sports topics, obviously, in your neck of the woods. And obviously, Drake May was sacked this past season, the most in NFL history, 21 times. What do the Patriots have to do to keep him upward so this guy doesn't get beaten up this year?
Well, I mean, number one is Will Campbell has to be healthy. I mean, he was playing very well until week 12. He got hurt. He wasn't the same when he came back. I think they rushed him back a little bit. He struggled terribly in the playoffs. Mike Vrabel said, he needs to get healthy and he needs to get stronger this offseason. I think he's going to be a really good left tackle. Okay, their left guard, who was Jared Wilson, they drafted him out of Georgia, but he's really a center. But they used him at left guard last year. Now they brought in Elijah Vera Tucker from the Jets. He's going to be the left guard, and they're moving, Jared Wilson to center. I think they're going to be just fine this coming year.
I want to get back to the Super Bowl. They better hope that he has.
All right, so that was ugly there.
Yeah, that was 21.
And they were, but they snapped the ball back to May, and they were hitting him before he even tucked the ball down. They were bringing some heat on May, and hey, they were the better team, and that's how it goes.
Well, I'll tell you what. Next week on the Motor City Mad Mouse Show, I will tell you one topic in advance. This one really angers the daylights out of me. I have to get off my chest. We're going to talk about the controversy about Cam Scatterborough, who doesn't believe in CTE. This is something we're definitely going to talk about. And actually, I might even consider bringing a couple of guests on. I have an idea that maybe I can do next week. I'll have to figure out how to do this. Maybe not. I don't know. But nevertheless, as far as I'm concerned, with Cam,
we'll talk about it because it's a real
bad. It really is bad. Yeah. So one more topic that we're going to talk about, and that's this, okay? The 49ers have no plans to trade quarterback Mac Jones this offseason and want him to return as backup for Brock Purdy. Great move. What do you think? I think they have to keep him around.
Yeah, I think it was smart. I mean, look, they could have got a decent I think they could have got a decent haul for him. But look, with all the injuries they had last year, and I thought Mac Jones, I thought he played really well when he was forced into duty there, because I mean it wasn't just him in there. I mean they lost so many people last year, and I thought Mac Jones kept him in a lot of games. He won quite a few. I thought after he left New England, his career was kind of in shambles. I think teaming up with Shanahan was the best thing that ever happened to him. And you could see it in his play last year. He still doesn't have the strongest arm, but he was able to work around that for the most part last year. I just thought it was a a smart move by the 49ers to hold on to him.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, I thought he should have been drafted by Shanahan in the first place, but obviously they opted to go with Trey Lance, but they got him later anyways. It doesn't make any difference there. So, all right. So, got to ask you as we get ready to wrap it up before we Candy on for a station break. Sports Exchange will be at the top of the hour. What are your takeaways from the Motor City Mad Mouse show with all the artillery that I hit you with? You tell me. If you can. You freezing? Steve. There we go.
Yeah, I lost you there for a second, so
That's okay.
I didn't catch it.
No big deal. What are your takeaways from tonight's show? All right, we got to move it. What are your takeaways from tonight's show? How much did you learn? And what are you going to be texting me after you get done here? Outside the chocolate to make me hungry.
Oh, the woes of the internet. We're
yeah, that's okay.
Bad connection.
No big deal. What are your takeaways from tonight's show, SB?
Oh, I loved it. It's every week we talk about different stuff, and that's the beauty of it. And it's like you never know what's coming. And this week it was funny because I had a little teaser. I got the alert about Warren Buffett. About I thought for sure I was going to be right on top of this. I didn't know about the Coca-Cola thing, but it was about the Tokyo Marine, and I thought we were going to talk about that, and that was funny because I read that. But no, great stuff as always, Scott. You come up with some great stuff, and it's always fun because it's off the cuff, and two old friends get to talk.
Yeah,
like hanging out in the bar.
Ask me, you're the only one that can handle this stuff. Really, seriously, really? You can. I can throw all this off the wall stuff. I'll tell you how many people quit this format because they don't have the guts to go out on a limb. You and me, it's like no big deal. Really, seriously, really, I need to get off my chest. I haven't done that enough today, but I might later on. But I'm telling you, I'm going to come up with all kinds of stuff. I got to keep you interested. Got to keep the thing growing here. And we bring on one of these days Molly Murphy on here. That poor little girl who's talking about horses. You're going to realize it's coming out of our mouth. But I promise I'll make it G-rated when she gets on here. And we'll learn a bit about horses and whoever else I decide to bring on this format as well. But we're going to hit it. But I ain't bringing them out for a couple of weeks. I got some heavy-duty stuff headed their way. Following away from Warren Buffett. We went to Switzerland a little bit. We also talk about the 7 places that watch 24/7. And a little bit of sports. And
yep. And
a little bit of death. Not a lot compared to other
You've got a good list of those 7 places. I got some really good, unbelievable sources that'll be, and listen to the microphone part 2, which, by the way, you're going to be doing the forward on. So it doesn't make any I look forward to that. You're doing the forward on it. I'm going to write it. Yeah, I'm going to be working on it sometime later this summer, depending on how many coaches I can rip a new backside and how many people get on my nerve. See, I like when people call me arrogant on the streets because I feel that's a compliment. Because if you're arrogant, my view of the word arrogant sometimes when you're on the road means people can't push you around. What's your view of the word arrogant? Well, it depends on how it's used. But look, I when it comes to arrogance, there's some people that are obnoxious. We know that. But when it comes to arrogance, I mean, I go always back to the Top Gun movie, the very first one. And when Tom Skerritt said to Tom Cruise, considering the company that you're in right here, that's pretty arrogant, isn't it? And he said, yes, sir. And he's like, good. I like that in a fighter pilot. You know what? I'll tell you what, I'll take arrogance all day long because at least it's my version of saying people don't back down. And they always have that little saying, 6 inch stones will break my bones, names will never hurt me. It's people, you've been in the business long enough, you really don't frankly care anyways. It's what you have in your heart. If you treat people right, they treat you right. That's all that matters to me. I'd rather be called a teddy bear inside, but I keep my guard up, and that's all that matters. But you know what? I have a soft spot in Candy Ebling. You've seen it plenty. And Candy Ebling's going to deliver us our station, our only station break of the night. Then you're going to let everybody know you identify yourself. We get to do this again next Wednesday. All right, that's me. Go ahead, Candy. Station break time that we. Well, actually, you know what, Steve? Why don't you let everybody know they get a hold of you, and Candy will wrap it up with a station break. All right. Again, Scott, thanks for having me on every Wednesday. This is a lot of fun. You can find me on Twitter at SteveB7SFG, also on Facebook at Steve Balshuri. Other social media at SteveB7SFG, like Instagram or whatever. But look, I write for PatsFans.com. I've been doing that. This is this upcoming season will be 16 years. I've been doing it with them. I also am a senior defense editor for the National Security Journal. I write about military affairs, military equipment, and ongoing military conflicts. So if you're into that kind of stuff, look me up.
And of course, SP's my co-host Wednesday night, Motor City Mad Mouse Show, where we talk about everything and no holds bar. And SB seems to have acclimated this format real well. That's why we enjoy doing it every week together. And we'll have some new wrinkles here and there. Candy, why don't you give us a little thanks and break? Sports Exchange at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Go ahead, Candace.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the industry and how it has evolved. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a picture of a young Scott with a young Muhammad Ali, so go get the book so you can see the picture. If you're an audio person, sorry you won't be able to see the picture, but you can still get all the good contents of his book. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content, so go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show or be a guest on a show, email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Last but not least, if you see the red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to our channel. What are you waiting for? Just click it, like us, share us with all your friends and family, and then turn on your notifications because you do not want to miss any of the programs we have scheduled throughout the week. Monday nights is baseball night, and yes, baseball is back. Spring training is over. Regular season, here we come. Tuesday nights is football. Wednesday night, you got this wonderful show, which you never know what Scott and Steve are going to be talking about. Always be entertaining. And then after this is the Sports Exchange, where we delve into numerous different topics and sports related. Thursday nights on Sports Wrap, it's either soccer or hockey, whichever. So go tune in. And then on Fire Up, come on over to the country club, as Scott calls it, and see what we've got up our bag of tricks. Thanks, Scott. Back to you.
All right, so the chat room, we have Alan Spoken at Hi at CP Sport Cards. Thank you very much for joining the program tonight. Much appreciated. Anybody that pops in the chat room will always get acknowledged. And Alan Spoken, we hope you're a subscriber. We appreciate you being in there. Nonetheless, you get a standing ovation if I were to stand. Think about it otherwise because you're the star in the chat room tonight. We appreciate it. So that does it for tonight's Motor City Mad Mouse Show, Warren Buffett's Road to Being a Billionaire, presented by Coca-Cola. Because I'll tell you one thing, I didn't real Coca-Cola. You go ahead and make this guy wealthy, but obviously I read off enough stats. If you can get those stats, then go ahead and replay the show on our YouTube channel. So Steve and I will be back next Wednesday night to do the same thing all over again. And I'll have some new topics. I'll be able to turn a few heads. I'll be waiting to see what Steve learns and see what text message he owes me last night after he goes ahead and gets his chocolate fix out of the way. So that does it for Scott and Steve tonight, Motor City Mad Mouse Show. And we'll catch you the next time. God bless everybody. The Sports Exchange is next. Have a great night. Looking forward to next week's episode as Steve and I get to talk even more and make it more real. And our goal is make sure you learn everything. And maybe it might turn your head just a little bit like we do presenting it. Good night, everybody.